Welcome to the channel, everybody. This is Hardware Despair. My name is Ryan, and today we are playing Unreal World. This is our Hurt, Helpless, and Afraid playthrough. So here we are at the base camp. Now, if you missed last episode, we were successful and did get a baby elk. We got an elk calf. And, oh, look, I just noticed there's something up in the corner there. Did I set a trap up here? I forgot now. Oh, I need to go into stealth. Let's see here. So I've got something on the ground. What is that? Triggered? Oh, okay. So something triggered this. So let's reset that. Okay. We didn't catch whatever it was, obviously, but something triggered it. We've got a lot of elk tracks around here. I think that's probably the mother. She's either come back or she's just, those are left over from when she was last here. Because like I said, we got her calf. It has successfully been, most of it's been dried. If we zoom in a little bit, it makes it easier to see. Whoops. Makes it easier to see the campsite here. We've got, 46 dried elk cuts. If I try to pick them up, it'll tell me we have 24 days left on those. Let's look. I've also got a whole bunch of roasted elk cuts too. So we're trying to burn through those as quickly as possible. Let's go ahead and eat a little bit, in fact. Yeah, delicious, because these roasted ones won't last for very long, 4 or 5 days maximum. All right, I'm going to zoom back out here because we need to do a little bit more hunting possibly, but also set a bunch more traps. So I'm always looking for hunting opportunities, obviously, but the traps are the big thing for now. So let's see here. We've got 8 stone. I'm going to pick up 4. And I'm going to leave the slender trunks we have here at our feet. I'm going to leave those because I'm going to use those for the fire in the future and stuff. I'll collect a bunch more, but for now we're going to need those potentially to warm up as we go. So I'll just come up here a little bit. You can see we got berry bushes right here. Cloudberry, let's look at those. Cloudberry bramble, it is edible. As I've mentioned before in previous tutorials, it's all berries are edible in this game. There are no poison berries. Now there are poison plants and poison mushrooms, but every berry you come across will be edible. All right, so we're taking that down. Okay, we got 5 trunks. Can I pick up all of them? No. See, I'm at over 100% here on my totals. That means that he's totally encumbered and can't move at all. So I need to probably just drop one of these. Yeah, that did the trick. Brought us under 100% down to 47%. So it's time for me to start moving again. Now, all we need are some branches. So I'll just grab some off this tree right here. Boom, those always drop at your feet, so you got to pick them up. Now, if we check our inventory, we got 4 stones, 4 slender trunks, and, plenty of branches, which are all 3 key ingredients for making our little traps here. So what I'm going to do is, let's go back to the base. I do like to set several traps here at the home location. As you can see, we've currently got 5. Oh, what happened to the trap to the north? Oh, it's been triggered too. Check that out. Yeah, I barely see that. Sorry about being so zoomed out, but you really do want to get used to it. When you're playing this game, you want to get used to being fully zoomed out. Honestly, when I play it alone, single player, I don't zoom in like this almost ever. I'm always zoomed out. But anyway, I will zoom in from time to time for your benefit. But let's take a quick little drink here. And let's step off this local terrain tile and go to the world map. So what I like to do is set up some traps elsewhere, but relatively nearby. So I'm not going to make any twists or turns. We're just going to go north, right here to the edge of the forest. And let's go into stealth mode. Kind of look around, see what's around us. Okay, well, I think this location right here by the heather patch is as good as any, a place. Plus, there's also some cranberries up there over here. Actually, let's set it over here near the cranberries. Now, these I'm going to pick for myself, but I'm going to wait. I'm going to hold off on those. Man, there's heather everywhere. If I was very worried, I would spend a lot of time standing here and picking these, but I'm not really super worried. I think that we'll be able to survive this winter fairly well, as long as we take it slow and we don't overexert ourselves and things like that. So there's always ways to survive. But now I don't want to stop what I'm doing for the hazelgraph. I will pick some of these though, so it's not the end of the world here if we take a little bit of time to do that. Okay, now you can see that I have set all 4 of my traps here. I picked most of the heather that was in this particular little patch. There's still a ton of heather around here though. But Yeah, the little cranberries I've left, like I said, I'm fairly confident most of these will still be around when it's when the birds come through here. And speaking of birds, man, there are a lot in this location because I got stopped several times while I was trying to build the traps. It might have been the same bird just floating around the area, but I think with these traps are going to be pretty successful. Now it's important to leave the area that you're a little bit close to your traps because if you walk too far away, then next time you come back, they won't be in your general vicinity. So I'm going to leave right there, and we just go boop, 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 straight down, make one little turn there, and we're good to go. Here, look at this elk. He has been all over this place. He's probably looking for his baby. Well, his baby's laying right there on the ground, buddy. Looks like he did walk right up to the stack of meat there. Can you see the tracks? Let's zoom in. Yeah, there's elk tracks right here. And it says that they were a day and a half old. Oh, boy. Yeah, he did walk right up to that meat pile. That's kind of sad, actually. Oh, well. He'll clear out of here eventually. She, I should say. The elk mother will eventually just move on, as most animals do. All right, so I'm going to drink a little bit. We want to make sure to eat. I'm trying to just stay as full as possible on this roasted elk cuts we've got. Ah, yes, very good. Now, we are going to go to sleep because I am weary, so it's time for bed. Okay, well, I went to sleep and I slept a full 8 hours, but it's still very early. It's only after midnight, as you can see up here in the top, very top of the screen. It says after midnight. Ideally, that would say like early morning, you know? So it's kind of easy to get your sleep schedule a little messed up in this game. So what I typically do is, so I'll zoom in so it's easier to see here at night. When I'm in my shelter like this is why I always build next to a tree of some sort. So now I'm just going to pass some time by going into my skills, hitting Timbercraft, and I'm just going to continually pull the branches off this tree. And it's got an infinite supply of branches too, so don't worry about that. I'm just going to do this over and over. It takes 10 minutes each time, and you can see the hours have already changed to small hours. So that means we're talking 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m. And the next stage of time will be morning, early morning, basically what we're looking for. So I'm either waiting for early morning, or if my guy were to get a little bit more tired, I would just put him back to sleep. But he's pretty good. He's pretty vigorous, and this isn't like a really hard activity. So I'm going to get him to eat. Oh, check this out. Okay, no, we're good. I thought some of those might say stale on them, but they're good. The meat is still fresh, although it has been a couple of days since we killed that elk, but no worries. Take a drink there. I had to chop the ice open to get at the water. Step back in there, and let's see, it's small hours of the morning still. You can see that this is not an ideal time to be doing anything like trying to track animals or hunt or even lay traps because you can barely see with the darkness. So I'm just going to continue with this task. All right. Well, it is early morning. It's still very dark, you'll notice, but I've done a little bit of work. So one thing that what we've been doing is stacking all this huge pile of branches. So now in the time that I've been doing this, I've managed to get 188 branches. I also went out and cut down 1 or 2 trees to get some more slender trunks. So this is basically our firewood, and I might use this slender trunks here to make some more traps at some point. But as you can see, if I go back to that screen real quick, I've only got 4 stones left. We need to go get some more stones. Now, I want to make that a priority. In addition to that, I really do want to just do a little bit of exploring here because we've got a decent view of the general area, but we need more. Look at that. We encountered an elk the second we stepped away from our... It's got to be the same elk. Yeah. And as you can see, like I mentioned, this is impossible. I can't do any tracking or hunting. I can barely see like 1 square in front of me. So I'm just going to go back to the world screen because time will pass much quicker. Before you know it, if you come to a screen like this in the dark, before you know it, it'll be morning and the light will start to come out. You can see it's already starting to expand. Our visual range is already increasing as I move. So and the light is now visibly getting brighter. So there is a day-night cycle, and there's also like a seasonal cycle for the sun too. No, I'm not going to go for the squirrel, but the sun itself will stay out longer, during the summer, and it's also brighter at night during the summertime too. So it's interesting. Okay, now we just got a notification. If you look down in the bottom right here in our text screen, you'll see that one of the bruises on our arm has healed. Oh, and another one did too. So as I mentioned in the first episode, as long as it's not really serious, it's not gushing blood or has an infection, most of the injuries you start with, you'll probably be able to get through. Just ignore them. You can clean them if you want to get a little bit of like skill at your doctoring, because doctoring is a skill, physician right here. So if I were to work on some of those, I might increase that a little bit. So I probably should have, because there's not going to be a ton of opportunities for you to increase this skill, unless you get yourself hurt a lot, but you kind of want to avoid that. So anyway, back to the point. We are just generally exploring the map right now, and my goal is to find some more wetland, marshland, which is nice and flat, just like what we're seeing right here. This is gorgeous. All right, I'm going to actually stop and eat real quick. Okay, we don't want to eat the heather flowers, not because they're poisonous or anything, just because I want to use the meat up first. The heather is like our last resort. Okay, now I noticed that this is actually a really sweet area. Look at how big let's step on top of this mountain right here. Oh, look at that. There's an animal right there. I think that's a badger. Let's look at it. You can use the look function on the world map here. If we look at it, it says we see an open mire, and you see a badger-shaped figure in the distance. So it's a badger. If it says badger-shaped figure, it's a badger. I don't think I'm going to tangle with the badger, to be honest. These things, it's not like an elk where you can really wear those out. Like foxes, badgers, there's probably several other animals that really attrition hunting like I did with the baby elk is not going to be that possible. You're going to need a bow and arrow to take those down, or maybe some javelins, if you get really good with that, which is something we will work on too. We should probably spend a little time at the base camp making javelins for throwing, because that would definitely help with my hunting. But since we're still so early right now in the year, early in the winter, I should say. It's not like there's not snow everywhere. I'm able to walk around without much clothing. This is the time to do the exploring. That's what I'm going for. And as you can see, I've stopped here to get some water. I'm going to eat a little bit. We are weary, too. If you've noticed that our vigor level is weary, that's good. Good for you for noticing that. That's important. It's only afternoon, though. So what I think I might do is try and sleep right here on the world map a little bit. Let's see what happens. Okay, that was kind of perfect. Yeah, because the rain woke us up, and that's okay. We're still rather warm, so my temperature level is not like crazy or anything. I'm not worried about it. I'm going to zoom in a little bit here. All right, I want to see where I am relative to the base. So I'm just north of it. I'm going to start to head back that direction, because we are weary. It's getting to be early evening, so I do want to, at this point, I want to get home and sleep. All right, so I think we're very close to it. Sometimes it's very hard to find in the middle of the night like this. All right, so you can see I am the red dot. The pink dot above us is the traps that we set. We are actually so close to our camp right now that I'm almost obscuring. My red dot almost obscures the traps that we have set there. So I think I'm literally, I'll zoom in here. I think I'm literally like one. Okay, there's the trap. It must be right there. It is. Okay, so we found it. Now that we found it the hard way, what I should do to make things a little bit easier, honestly, I shouldn't be out traveling at that time of the night anyway, but what I should do is to make things easier, I'm going to add a mark to this. So I went in, I hit A, and now I'm just going to name it Camp 1. Because it's unlikely I'll make the permanent base that I established with the log cabin and stuff. It's probably not going to be in this particular location. This is just the first place we set up our camp. Okay, it is officially morning. Exactly. We just woke up. I've eaten, had some water. So we're doing okay. Now, if you'll notice over to the left, I'm just checking out the trap. This one's been triggered again with no bird in it. I think that elk might be coming along and stepping on him. I'm serious. It sounds like a joke, but I'm pretty sure that's what's happening. Yeah, look at the one in the corner, too. Northwest corner has already been snapped and triggered, but no bird. So, yeah, pretty sure that elk is paying us back for killing its child. But here we will just ignore it. We'll just rearm it. And the elk will eventually leave the area. Or maybe I can go and hunt it. I don't know. Now would be the time since it's daylight. Let's see if we can't find it again. Because it was just literally like 1 or 2 squares away from me. Now, it's tricky. Sometimes you have to rely on actually seeing the animal on the world map, but sometimes it is possible, if you're really, really lucky, to just zoom into an area where you know the animal has been, and you can sometimes just travel around, and you might actually stumble into it. It's possible. So let me just do that. Maybe I'll find the elk. Maybe it'll just be a wild goose chase and I'll waste a little bit of time. But it's not the end of the world. Oh, look, there's a bird right there. See him on the water just north of us? He's just standing there. But without javelins, I can't really hunt him. Okay, well, maybe it's not luck. Maybe it's just having knowledge of the game, because we did actually locate the elk. There it is, right there to the west of us. So let's take a quick look. Big elk. It might be the same one. It might be a different one, but I don't think it's a coincidence. So what we can do is basically treat this the same way we attempted to, or successfully hunted the baby. So I'm going to scare it, chase it, and just do that repeat over and over again until it gets really, really tired. Now let's take a quick look where we are. I think we'll be okay. I'm just kind of worried about the forest. Okay, there it goes. It's starting to run. I'm going to chase it. All right, now it went off the map, so I'm going to go back into hiding here. And let's see if I can't get to it again. It's important not to lose it at this time, so I need to basically keep my eye out for the tracks that it's making. Okay, there it is. It's right there. It's kind of in between 2 water puddles. It's tough in this area because it has been moving through here a lot, so there's just a ton of tracks. It would be easy to lose it here, but if I can chase it to a location it hasn't really been, it'll be a lot better for us. Look, it's wearing itself out already, just messing around this water. All right, so this is good. It's off the map again. I'm going to stealth, and let's follow the tracks, keeping the eye out for the tracks as they appear in the distance. There they are. Whoops. Oh, okay, so this is bad. I just accidentally stepped in some water. I stepped on the ice and I went through it. Now I'm bitterly cold. It's not the end of the world, but if we don't get warmer, if I start to freeze, then we could die. So that was a terrible, terrible mistake. I'm not going to give up on the elk. I'm just going to push on, see if we can't warm up just by running, basically. Oh, okay, this big boy looks slightly fatigued, so let's get it. Yeah, we're not giving up yet. I'm going to start running. Okay, it sees me. And it flew the coop, so let me go ahead and hide again. How's my warmth? Keep an eye on my warmth there for me. If we drop down another level, then I might have to stop and make a fire. I can't kill myself just for this elk here. All right, again, just looking for the tracks as they appear. Trying to keep my eye out. Also, oh, this is an area where it just... Oh, there it is, right there. Okay, I see it. Let's take a quick look at it. Always be looking. See what your prey is doing. What does it look like? It's still slightly fatigued. We need to keep the pressure on it. We're bitterly cold. Okay, it sees me. I'm going to chase it. Eventually, my guy will be able to keep up with it, but it needs to be a lot more fatigued than it is for that. Oh, there it is. All right. The more times we encounter it, the better, because that's more times it's been scared and forced to flee and run, so as long as we don't lose sight of it. See, now this is an area where I don't know where these tracks are really leading me. Oh, I hope we don't lose it here. I'm going to check this. There it is. Whew. I was a little worried. All right, let's see here. When you lose the tracks, it can be really, really bad. Oh, there it goes. Let's run. Our endurance is fine. Oh, there's a lot of water over there. I was hoping it might get stuck in a puddle, but no. All right, let me, it won't let me go into stealth, right? Oh, it sees me. It's right there. All right, I'm going to go ahead and keep chasing it. We'll keep the pressure on. We're getting a little tired here. Let me look at it. Let's check it out. We'll see what its endurance is at. It looks fatigued, so it's gone from slightly to regular old fatigue. Let's keep chasing it. All right, it's off the map. I'm going to take this opportunity to rest a little bit. How's our temperature? We're still bitterly cold. So that's actually good news to me. That means that, hey, we're not going down right now, at least. At least I can keep chasing this sucker. Okay. I'm following the tracks wherever they lead me. There's a bird. Oh man, see now, I don't like how long it's been off the map. I'm getting a little nervous. I don't think I'm going to lose it here, but where is it? Yeah, this might not be good. I see the track. Did I get off on the wrong tracks? No, these are very fresh. What the heck? Why haven't we encountered it? Oh, I think I just saw it. I think it was literally, there it is. Let's look at it, because when it's off screen like that, it could be resting. So I don't like that. Oh, see, it did rest. It went from fatigue to slightly fatigued. Don't worry, I'm going to get this sucker down. Okay, well, this is really bad news right here. I've still got it in my sights. I've still been chasing it. Let's look at it. It's only still slightly fatigued. It's been tough, man. This big girl, I think, is very, very good, tough. But she is heading towards the forest. See, she just went into the tree line there. Yep, that means we've pretty much lost her. There's nothing to do once they enter the trees. I mean, you can go in there and try and track their footprints, and sometimes you might accidentally like stumble into them, and maybe you can try and take them on then, but more than often they'll just flee. And if she's not fully like fatigued, there's no way you can stay in melee combat with her. So that's a loss, basically. What we can do is I can fiddle around here at the map, try and like move back and forth, wait for her to leave that location and fiddle around like this, maybe come back in and see if she came out of the forest. Because that's possible. It's entirely possible to get her again, pick her up in this general area. See, this is exactly where we just were. But it's also might be a total waste because she could leave the area. She could just start heading in one direction and not turn around again. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. Maybe we won't chase her forever. It was lucky that we found her, but that's what happens. A lot of the time you need to just know when to cut your losses, because if you push yourself on a hunt like that too long, you're going to slip and crack into the ice like I did, and yeah, it's not going to be good. Well, one of the things I probably should have done before attempting to take down a huge elk like that is get prepared to process that meat and dry it. For that, we need a lot of cordage. If I were to take down a big elk like that, that's hundreds and hundreds of pounds of meat. So I should have prepared beforehand. Luckily, we didn't down her, right? So I should look on the bright side. But what I need is to go ahead and take down these little saplings here. The ones you can actually walk through, those are the ones I want. Trees like this, you can't walk through. That's not, for this particular situation, not what I want. So I'm going to go ahead and take this down just like I normally would with my timbercraft skill. I'm going to grab several of these because what we're going to do is make cordage out of these. So it's not the best kind of cordage, but it's good for the purpose of drying meat. It'll work for that. If you're trying to make clothing, then this cordage is probably not going to work that well for you. But like I say, just for the purposes of meat, it works well. So I'm going to zoom out a little bit, and I'm going to search around. I'm going to try and get 4 or 5 more of those so we have lots and lots of spare cordage. Okay, well, I actually came over here to the edge of the forest just to look for more of those saplings, because obviously they're going to be here in the forest a lot more easily found than out on the marshes. But I came across some mushrooms here that are bear paw. I actually know this kind here, just my guy knows it. And if I look here again, the mushroom is not edible raw. Unless boiled separately, it is poisonous. So that's, again, not one I'm going to grab. Now, these cloudberry mushrooms, cloudberries I could take. And in case you're wondering, too, there are mushrooms in the game which are totally fine to eat and completely edible raw. It's just they're rare. The poisonous ones are much more common. Okay, here we are back at the campsite. I've got my fire going, helping warm me up because my guy is still chilly. Falling into that water was not smart. And it's actually snowing right now, as you can kind of see. So what we're going to do is process those little saplings that I picked up. I want to hold shift and push M. That brings up our crafting menu. We're going to go to tying equipment. Now, I think, I picked up spruce. So this white, I'm not sure exactly how it's pronounced. I'm going to say wythe. But the spruce wythe is basically a very, very primitive kind of cordage. So we need spruce saplings. There we go. I'm going to do the full amount. Let's just see how long that takes. Oh, that wasn't too bad. There was only 40 minutes there. Now, let's go into our inventory and see what we have. So if I look under here with, yeah, up here where it says tools. In fact, let me drop some of this stuff so it looks a little bit easier for you to distinguish what's in my inventory. Okay, here this is a little bit better. So we've got the tools under the tool section. I've got 3 different cordages here. So I've got the poor cloth cord. This is just an example of one we made earlier, so you can see there's a difference. And then we've got the spruce withes, and we've got the inferior spruce withes. So there's 4 feet of these. Normally a cloth cord will make like 15 feet. These are a lot shorter, but there's 17 of them. Well, total of 20, and that is really good for making meat. That's going to be pretty perfect. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop those because I don't want to carry these around with me. I'll go ahead and keep the cloth cord just in case I want to make a trap or something later on that uses cloth, or that uses cordage, because some of the bigger traps do. In fact, that's something we should maybe think about. It's hard to make some of the larger traps because we don't have an axe, and a lot of them do take logs. But it's possible if I zoom around the marsh looking around for logs, I could probably scare up 3 different logs and bring them back to the campsite. We could maybe make something. But the thing is, if you don't see a large animal in the general area, then you're just kind of hoping something stumbles upon the trap, you know? It's not very realistic that it'll happen. But if I do happen to see a bear out on the world map or something, then we could think about setting up a trap in that general area. All right. Well, I think the final task we'll do for today, after I rest a little bit here because my guy's tired, I'm going to eat here, but then we're going to make a couple javelins. Now, this is kind of a process here to make a javelin. You don't just make it from scratch. You've got a couple steps. So first thing we need is some slender trunks here. So I've got those. I've got a few of them. So I'm going to let me grab 2 of them. Now, I need a fire going too for this particular kind of crafting because you're going to basically sharpen and harden the ends of your javelin in the fire. So I added some slender trunks. I'm going to add, I don't know, 100 or so branches because I really want to get this fire going. Yeah, there we go. We got a big raging fire. Okay, so now I'm going to go and I'm going to hit Shift and M to open up my crafting. First things first is I need my lumber. So I'm going to make a staff. I'm actually going to make 2 staffs, okay? Because the first you have to make a staff out of the slender trunk, and then you make a javelin out of the staff. So that's the first step. It's actually pretty long. That took us 5 hours. So I'm going to go ahead and eat again because we're hungry, tired. It's time for bed. I'm going to sleep, and in the morning we'll finish off the javelins. All right, it is morning, time for breakfast, and as you can see, those elk cuts, they're almost gone, and we've only got stale ones left. So yeah, I don't think we're going to end up wasting any of that meat, which is really fantastic, but he's probably not enjoying this very much, the stale roasted elk cuts. But anyway, so like I said, it's morning, we've got the fire going, it's a rager. Let's do our weapons next. So we're making javelins. So I'm going to hit Shift and M, and instead of lumber, we're going to go for W, which is weapons. All right, now you can see javelin, that's there. So when I do it, it asks me how many do I want to make. I want to make 2 because that's how many staffs we have. And as you can see, it fills those for us. As long as you have the stuff, it'll automatically fill up the little list there. Okay, and we just push space to continue. This is going to be another long one here. It's going to take most of the day to make these. Oh yeah, it's even longer than making just the staffs themselves, but if the fire goes out, that's okay. You'll still finish it as long as you don't interrupt yourself. Man, that took 10 hours. It's already nighttime. Oh, and look, see that? The elk cut has spoiled. So we are no longer, well, we shouldn't eat that now. You might be able to eat it, but you shouldn't. So it'll make your guy sick. So now I'm just filling up on the heather and berries that we happen to have. So now you can see where food starts to become an issue, because if we move, I'm going to rest a little bit. If we move up here, we'll see, yeah, these elk cuts are not dry for another 19 days. So we've got to either hope for some traps or do a little bit more active hunting. You know, that's the only real way to survive out here in the unreal world. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining me for this episode. I hope you liked the content. If so, hit a like and subscribe. Let me know down in the comments what you think of this series. Also, check the description down there for Discord and the Patreon, and I will see you on the next episode. Hey everybody, thanks for watching, and now check out this fan art by a couple of my Discord members, Finn and Vita. It's pretty good, and I love the cuttlefish.